Right now on KREM 2 News at noon, a ban on Native American mascots. This afternoon, we hear from a North Central High School student who says now is the exact right time to do it. Plus, businesses in Spokane are having some trouble finding employees. This afternoon, we spoke with two local owners who say people just aren't showing up for interviews.
And of course, we're going to take you outside. We've got a little bit of cloud cover moving in. I'll let you know what that means for our temperatures as we head into the afternoon.
KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
Hi everyone and welcome to KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti and we begin with breaking news. The CDC has issued some new guidance on wearing face masks and now says once you are fully vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask at small outdoor gatherings or if you're dining outside with other people. Until you're vaccinated, the CDC says you should do so. And the CDC also says even if you've been vaccinated, you should avoid large indoor gatherings. You are considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after your booster shot or of either Pfizer or Moderna or 2 weeks following your Johnson & Johnson shot. President Biden just wrapped up a news conference and we are writing that information up. It is posted on KREM.com and we'll have the very latest tonight on KREM 2 News first at 4. 12:01 right now happening today. Spokane Public Schools will hold a public forum to discuss changing the mascot at North Central High School. This comes after the Washington legislature approved a measure to ban the use of Native American names, symbols, and images as school mascots, logos, and team names at most public schools within the state. The ban is set to take effect beginning next year. Nicole Hernandez has more about that meeting.
Yeah, so the Spokane Public School Board is actually asking for feedback from the community about North Central High School's mascot. During a meeting back in March, the school board actually talked about the possible changes to the high school's mascot and the accompanying symbol. The school has had an Indian as its mascot since the 1920s, but many people now have said that the imagery is offensive and inappropriate. KREM 2 spoke with a student at North Central who told us why now is exactly the time for a change.
I say that it makes it extremely difficult to validate my own identity when I'm constantly being shown images of what I should look like or how I should act. And it's really just this dehumanizing image that casts aside the struggles of Indigenous people today. Yes, I think a lot of people like to rely on this fact that, or on this idea that mascots honor Indigenous people. And I can tell you that I don't feel honored.
Again, that public forum is happening tonight. It's scheduled for 6:30 to 8 p.m. and that meeting will be happening over Zoom. You can visit the Spokane Public Schools website to find a link to register for that meeting, get the Zoom link. You can also leave public comment on the website as well. If you're interested in a link to do all of that, you can send the word forum to 509-448-2000. Just send us a text and we'll send you a link right back. In Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, appreciate the update. We'll be at the meeting and of course let you know what happens. It is 12:03 right now. Taking a look at other news. Some local businesses are having trouble filling jobs. Businesses like Delish Hamburgers. They recently had to close their lobby because they just don't have enough staff to meet the demand. Now, the owner says he has scheduled 150 interviews since January, but thus far about 10 people have shown up. Trailbreaker Cider in Liberty Lake also looking for people to hire. It just posted yesterday that it needs kitchen staff.
I've got about 5 positions I need filled right now. I'm having a hard time finding people to work day shifts Monday through Friday. And that's, in the restaurant business, that's always been the easiest one to find.
It remains to be seen just how challenging this will be, but I'm anticipating it to be a little bit of a challenge.
So last year, Trailbreaker also had its fair share of interview no-shows. But this week after our story aired, they tell us they've already received a few resumes. According to Washington State Employment Security Department, it's paid more than $17 billion in benefits to over 1 million Washingtonians since March of last year. Both business owners suspect some people are earning more on unemployment, or many are not yet comfortable with coming back at this point to work. All right, 12:04 right now. Let's take a live look outside on a beautiful, gorgeous day overlooking Riverfront Park. A little bit breezy out there. Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo joining us now to tell us what we can expect in terms of things maybe warming up.
Ooh, Laura, it is already starting to warm up right now. Believe it or not, we're just 2 degrees shy of our high temperature yesterday. And yeah, we do kind of have a little bit of a hazy cloud cover up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's one of those ones where it feels brighter than it actually is as I'm standing out here because of the way that haze is affecting my eyes. 57 degrees right now. That is that 2 degrees shy of where we were yesterday for our high temperature. 56 in Coeur d'Alene, 55 over in Sandpoint, and 60s out in central Washington. Now with the way everything's working out, what we'll wind up seeing is a little more breezy wind throughout the day. It's been breezy all morning long, so just expect that to continue as we head into the latter half of the day. And here comes a little bit of cloud cover. And what's going to wind up happening is we get this high level cloudy haze. That's going to eventually work its way out. And later on this afternoon, we'll wind up seeing a little more sunshine, then more clouds build, then more sunshine tomorrow, then more clouds building. And we're kind of in that pattern. So here's how it breaks down. This afternoon, temps continue to climb despite some of those clouds, and we are in the mid 60s later on today.
All right, here are 3 things you need to know about coronavirus today. Lots going on. First, the White House has announced plans to share its supply of the AstraZeneca vaccine with other countries. As many as 60 million doses will become available once the vaccine is granted an emergency use authorization by the FDA, which, however, will not be for another several weeks at this point. So second, as coronavirus cases continue to spike in Washington, so are hospitalizations. The Washington State Hospital Association says younger people are largely behind the spike.
There is no question that we are now in a 4th wave of this disease.
So right now, 44 hospitals across Washington have reported more than 600 hospitalizations. That's the most that the state has seen in months. The State Department of Health says about 40% of people hospitalized are between 40 and 59 years old. And the Spokane Regional Health District is resuming the use of the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine. This follows, of course, an 11-day pause that the federal health officials lifted recently. The nationwide pause on the vaccine actually was lifted on Friday. That was after investigating 50 cases of blood clots out of 8 million people who had received that shot. The health district said in a press release today it uses the J&J shot for people who are homebound, people who are working in large settings and residents of rural communities. And Spokane County's interim health officer, Dr. Francisco Velasquez, says the vaccine is safe and effective. In a statement, he said, quote, "The risks are rare compared to the enormous morbidity and mortality risks associated with contracting the COVID-19 virus. Its ease of use makes it instrumental in many of our vaccination outreach efforts." Again, coming from the health district. 12:07 before we go to break. It's Tuesday, and that means, of course, time for Pick of the Litter. So we want you to meet someone very special today. Such a cutie. This is Charlie, and she's really a Chihuahua mix. She's 4 years old, loves dogs, cats, and adults. Her ideal home would be with maybe an older couple or a home with older children who sort of respect her boundaries, all right? Charlie likes a good boundary. She has a lot of love and a lot of life to give. She was actually surrendered because her family, they were older and they could no longer take care of her in the way that she needed. So if you're interested, she is available at the PetSmart here on Spokane South Hill. Head on over there and meet Charlie. All right, well, the pink moon could be seen across the globe. A supermoon, as they call it, a full moon that is happening when the moon is closest to the Earth. According to NASA, this year's supermoon has been called a pink supermoon. We'll talk more about that coming up when KREM 2 News at noon continues.